everybody, I'm Carla with Race to Walk, and it is time for yet another episode in Hack the Saga. So, what is this? This is a series that I started back in August of 2024. My main channel, Race to Walk TV, had been dedicated to Bible studies and book reviews. They were so good that all of them got hacked, stolen, plagiarized, and in the course of all this, as I've been doing the updates, I discovered that the people responsible for it were people that I know from An Unexpected Journal, which is a cultural apologetics journal that I volunteered for and dedicated a huge part of my life to putting together, promoting not only the journal itself, but the people and the contributors that were involved. And those same people were the ones that betrayed me, sabotaged my stuff. I don't even know what all. But anyway, they've been behind the main part of the sabotage, along with Phil Talon, who is still the dean of the School of Christian Thought at Houston Christian University. So yeah, just simmer on that for a little bit and figure out how that all works. So I started doing these live stream updates after I had been reporting to authorities. I started being hacked in December of 2023. I had reported multiple times to authorities. Nobody did anything. So August 4th, 2024, I started the live streams and I've kept going. So where it's at today, just checking to make sure that I have all my stuff, and apparently there's been, there's been a little bit of sabotage on it. So anyway, one of the streams that I did was back on, let me edit this. This is annoying, but that's okay because we'll just do this. Back on April 12th of this year, so just a couple weeks ago, I decided, you know what? I was right in the middle of this huge, I tell you what, the last 3 weeks, it's been 3 of the last 4 weeks I've spent just trying to get control over my emails. So I've explained this a little bit more in other streams. People who have their own domain names and websites will understand this. If you don't, then it may not make as much sense, but I have my email addresses that I use are on my own domain. So like racetowalk.org, my business legacymarketingservices.com, my personal email address or personal domain name, thealvarezes.com. Those are the emails I use, which is a good thing because I still to this day cannot get control over my Gmail accounts that they have also hijacked control over that I've had for 20 years. Anyway, and try to get support from Google. If you can, please tell me how. So anyway, I have my own domain names. I have my own email addresses, and the basically master lock of those are, it's where you register your domain. And so I've had that pretty locked down as much as I can with jackasses constantly coming around me and stealing sessions. But anyway, they somehow, I actually have a picture of the person who did this, that stole the session on my Cloudflare account, and on one of them, he got into Cloudflare and I was working in it. So by the time I realized it, he'd already changed the password, changed the two-factor authentication, and changed the backup code. So I couldn't get into it. But I still had access to my registrar account. And so I just moved all my domains to a new Cloudflare account. And this has happened a couple times. So next they went over my my registrar account, and somehow with Namecheap, they got it locked. They locked my account, so I couldn't get into it. And So basically, if the DNS wasn't correct, they had control over everything, and they were wiping all of the records off my for my domains, so my emails weren't getting through. If you tried signing up for my newsletter, you wouldn't have gotten the confirmation email. Just basically wreaking havoc, right? And so this has been going on, and so I've been basically at this point, like I've said, apparently they're not going to stop unless if they're dead or in jail, because being exposed isn't enough for them to like figure out how they're going to move forward, knowing that I know the things that they've done. I don't know. But anyway, on April 12th, I decided, you know what, I'm done with this. I broke all ties with them in August of 2024. When I resigned from the board, I haven't spoken to any of them. I blocked their emails, their phone numbers, blocked them on social media, have had no contact. They still tried to fake my involvement with them as late as, at least November of 2025. Don't ask me why. It's just lunatics. They're just complete lunatics. So anyway, all this is going on, but I've left my essays there, and I thought, you know what? I know that this is one of the first things I saw before I knew who was doing it. They were sabotaging my essays themselves that were on the journal. This is a thanks I get for basically investing a huge portion of my life for 6 years towards this. So anyway, I thought, you know what? Forget it. Just to be honest, I was one of the top read contributors on that site for several years. I had 5 essays that were among the top 10 most read essays. Now, it doesn't mean that my essays are the best. I don't know. Maybe I had some pretty good ones. And you can actually go read that on my Substack. I have some good ones. But part of it is I was actually promoting it while they were basically behind the scenes destroying the journal. So anyway, I decided our contributor agreement, the copyright always stays with the author, and an unexpected journal had a specific right to use to continue to publish the issues, right? The back issues. They've been changing my essays, sabotaging them, putting mistakes in them, who knows what else. I have literally, but since I realized what despicable people they are, I haven't had time to go check to see what's been showing on the site and what I actually published, word for word. I haven't had time to do that. But I know that they've plagiarized them. So anyway, I sent an email, and I'm going to show this. This is who I sent this to. And apparently, there's a little bit of effort to hide what I sent when I sent it. But we'll just go back to that. So I sent this notice to the same people that I sent my resignation to in August of 2024. I have had no association, affiliation, or contact with any of these people since then. So if there have been any changes, I don't know. And I don't think anybody can tell because they don't put it on the website. So this is who I sent it to. I sent it to the main email for an unexpected journal. I sent it to Jason Smith, who had been on the board, and they had just decided to have him do the production and distribution, basically what I had been doing before, and through his business, Wooten Major Press. Don't know. I mean, at the time I was like, oh my gosh, what a relief. Now I don't even know what that means. I don't even know what's been done to the issue, so who knows. I sent it to Jasmine Biggs, who's the editor-in-chief, Annie Nardoni, who is the president of the board, Zachary Small, who was the former managing editor and who, at the time when I sent my resignation in, he was the issue editor for the issue that was coming out on Community, the one with the hideously ugly cover, and the one where they put up this image of bloody hands so it looked like a horror movie when the issue launched on the website. Unbelievable. Let's just make it obvious that we're trying to tank the journal. Anyway, Grant Broadhurst, who web manager, whatever, he and Jason Smith, I'm positive, were some of the main hackers. I mean, these are the people that were on the board at the time. Abby Brockman, her maiden name is Thompson. She was a treasurer. Jason Monroe, who was on the board. Josiah Peterson, and Seth Meyers. This is who I emailed it to. This is just a screenshot of my sent email from my email program. Okay? So we're just going to go here since, hold on. I had this set up and apparently, somebody was trying to hide this. So this is what I published, sent to them by email on April 12th. Okay. And I put this on here because, you know, I know the kind of games and monkeying around that have been done. And so I just say this, you know, I'm putting it here. They have blocked communications, emails, constantly trying to block any sort of communication that I have with people, right? So I'm just going to read this again. And as I read this, you tell me if there is anything that is unclear about this, okay? You just listen to it and see if there's any confusion. Okay, this is April 12th, 2026, to the Board of Directors, managers, and affiliates of An Unexpected Journal. Notice of copyright infringement, breach of contract, theft of intellectual property, and demand for cease and desist. From Carla M. Salih Alvarez, dear members of the board and management of An Unexpected Journal, this letter serves as a formal notice of a demand to immediately cease all publication of my work, remove all instances of my work from distribution, and halt the creation of any derivative works, including but not limited to artificial intelligence AI models trained on my content. Is this confusing? Is this confusing at all? Is it unclear? Are there any words that are too hard in here for people who have a master's degree in cultural apologetics? Do you think? This, I think it's pretty clear. Okay. 1, background and scope of license. I, Carla M. Salih Alvarez, was a founding board member of An Unexpected Journal and the primary person responsible for the production and distribution of issues from April 2018 through December 2023. During this period, I negotiated the writers' agreements with our primary distribution platform, CreateSpace. And I explained this before. When we started publishing in 2018, Amazon had already bought CreateSpace, but it was still separate. And then after that, they moved it over to KDP. So Amazon KDP. This is just a clarification. But I also explained, we just tried to publish it without writers' agreements, and they got rejected. The print issues got rejected, and they required us to have signed writers' agreements for every single essay because they had already been published online. And we wrote something, sent it in. They didn't like it, and so we had to get 2 people. I had friends that were attorneys that worked on it and put together an agreement for us. So it basically took us 2 months to get through this. Okay, so when I say this, I mean, I was the one who went through this step by step, so I know exactly what I'm talking about. Okay. The original writer's agreement, under which all my essays were submitted, granted an unexpected journal, one, an exclusive right to publish for 90 days following the publication of the specific issue in which the work appeared, and two, a non-exclusive right thereafter solely for the purpose of keeping the specific printed and digital issues for sale. Crucially, the agreement stipulated that copyright remained with the contributor. The agreement did not grant an unexpected journal the right to license, assign, or sell the work to third parties, create derivative works beyond the specific issue publication, utilize the content for machine learning, artificial intelligence training, dataset generation, or any other automated processing. Access, copy, or extract content from my personal devices, accounts, or private files. Yeah, I guess I just think that because I spent so much time doing for them things for them for free, that they owned me. That's pretty much what it looks like. Anyway, but no, not only did that contract not give them a right, they didn't own my essays or my work, they didn't own me either. Remember this. This is what users look like, and this is what they do. 2, notice of breach, copyright infringement, and theft. Based on my review and documentation, an unexpected journal and its affiliates have materially breached the aforementioned agreement and violated federal copyright law, specifically 1, exceeding license scope. The journal has utilized my work for purposes far beyond the agreed upon sale of issues, including the creation of derivative works and alleged training of AI models. Such actions constitute copyright infringement under 17 USC 501 as they exceed the scope of the limited license granted. 2, unauthorized access and theft. I have documentation that my personal devices and accounts were accessed without authorization. Content was extracted, copied, and distributed from my laptop and private files, including unpublished work, transcripts, and materials that were never submitted for publication and never authorized for any use. Unauthorized derivative works. There is substantial evidence that my essays have been substantially altered and used to create derivative works without my consent. Plagiarism and misappropriation. Beyond the journal's own publications, my work has been plagiarized and distributed across other platforms without attribution or compensation. 5, failure to steward IP. As noted in my resignation letter August 24th, the journal failed to address counterfeit copies and copyright violations, effectively invalidating its stewardship rights. Furthermore, the apparent cessation of operations following the Dorothy Sayers issue in Advent of 2024 means the entity is no longer capable of fulfilling its contractual obligations to steward the intellectual property. 3, demand for removal of all work. Effective immediately, you are demanded to remove all my work from the Unexpected Journal website and unexpectedjournal.com, all print and digital issues, and any AI models or databases containing my content. Is any of this unclear? Is any of this unclear? No. It's like you don't get to use my stuff, remove it. Anyway, this includes, but is not limited to, the following specific works. Constructivism in Education, Volume 1, Issue 1, 2018. The Making of a Hero, Volume 1, Issue 2, 2018. Lava, A Story of Love and Hope, Volume 1, Issue 2, 2018. Hope, Light, and the Fountain of Trevi, Volume 1, Issue 2, 2018. Imagination and Its Role in Faith, Volume 2, Issue 1, 2019. Serenity and the Theodicy of Josh Whedon, Volume 2, Issue 2, 2019. Melchizedek, Bombadil, and the Numinous in The Lord of the Rings, Volume 3, Issue 1, 2020. Ethics of the Matrix, Volume 3, Issue 2, 2020. Gremlins and the Second Way, Volume 3, Issue 2, 2020. Death, Grief, and Hope in Pearl, Volume 3, Issue 3, 2020. The Power of the Storyteller, Jesus and Aesop, Volume 4, Issue 3, 2021. And Job and His Dragon, Volume 5, Issue 2, 2022. Additionally, this demand extends to all unpublished manuscripts, drafts, and notes stored on my devices or accessed without authorization, all transcripts, recordings, and audio-video content that was ripped or copied from my accounts, platforms, websites, or devices. Any other work, published or unpublished, that was obtained through unauthorized access to my devices, accounts, or communications. 4. Cease and desist harassment, unauthorized access, and misrepresentation. Separately, I hereby demand an immediate cessation of all actions representing an association between myself and an unexpected journal, its board members, or affiliates. I have documentation indicating that the board members and affiliates have falsely represented themselves as associated with my businesses, Legacy Marketing Services LLC, Effusion Media Group, and my brands Raised to Walk, Bright Sheet Ministries, and who knows what else. Illegally access my devices and accounts without authorization. Engaged in sabotage of my websites and SEO poisoning campaigns. Diverted funds and withheld communications. Extracted and distributed content from my private files without consent. These actions constitute tortious interference, potential violations of Computer Fraud and Abuse Act 18 U.S.C. 1030, copyright infringement 17 U.S.C. 501, and criminal acts. I have previously filed a report with the Federal Bureau of Investigation and the Department of Justice dated July 28, 2024 regarding these matters. I will say, this was before I knew that it was the friends that were doing it. Deadline and consequences. You have 30 days from the receipt of this letter to permanently remove all my works from all digital and physical platforms. 2, confirm in writing that no AI models, derivative works, transcripts, or other materials containing my content remain in existence or active training sets. 3, cease all unauthorized contact and representation of association. 4, remove my email address from all mailing lists and website databases. 5, provide a written accounting of all locations where my work is currently exists or has been distributed. Failure to comply with these demands will leave me no choice but to pursue all available legal remedies, including filing a lawsuit for copyright infringement, breach of contract, conversion, and damages, and seeking injunctive relief. I will also fully cooperate with federal and state authorities regarding criminal allegations of unauthorized access, theft, and fraud. Please direct all future correspondence regarding this matter to me at auj@mail.thealvarezes.com and P.O. Box 13, Salem, Oregon 97308, which I'm assuming maybe I'll get, maybe I won't, because I think that some of my mail has been stolen as well. So here's the thing. If people are a little slow and don't really quite understand what that means, this is the page is on my website, thealvarezes.com/notice to AUJ. I sent this by certified mail, and this is a tracking number, so anybody can check to see when it is that they get it. They should have gotten already. The post office didn't get it to them in a timely manner. It's been delayed. But this is a tracking number, 9589-0710-3232-907847. And I sent that with a certified mail with a return receipt. So I will get a notice of when that was acknowledged. So if anybody is out there playing dumb still, which obviously they are, because I will tell you what has transpired since then. There's no excuse. So let me just go back to this. Do you see this? This is who I sent it to. These are the emails I sent to them are the ones that I used to correspond with them for 6 years. They didn't have a problem getting it then. They shouldn't have a problem getting it now. So let me say again, I sent it to the general journal email, and I have them blocked from my business Gmail account because they were hacking I don't even know what they were doing, but there was some sort of link connection between the journal email and my business email. I blocked the journal email. I did not send it from that. Okay. Did not send it from that. So they can respond to the email address that I gave them. That auj@mail.thealvarezes.com. That is, since I'm using Proton and Simple Login, that is an alias. Okay. So you have to use aliases in certain ways, which I have a screenshot of this. I'll tell you what happened yesterday when I get to that point. But let me say again, this is who I sent it to by email on April 12th. Send it to the general email of an unexpected journal. The fact that I haven't got a response is just evidence that that is basically a defunct site that's just sitting there for who knows what. Jason Smith, Jasmine Biggs, Annie Nardoni, Zachary Small, Grant Broadhurst, Abby Brockman, Jason Monroe, Josiah Peterson, and Seth Myers. Have I got a single response? No, I have not. And let me just say that I had made this clear in another video where I was talking about my work, that I had never given permission for any of my work to be used for anything. These submissions to an unexpected journal, which I just revoked their right to publish, were the only time I have ever given any permission to another entity to publish anything. That's it. I know that my work has been used to build an AI model, probably multiple ones, and generate crap for their ghost writing clients and garbage channels and websites that they spit stuff out because they're too lazy. They're either too lazy or too ignorant to be able to craft it into something that actually makes sense. I want a list of where it was published, and I want every single video and that has been created based off my work. I want the revenue that was generated from that, 50% of the revenue, and that is being generous because if it were music, I would be getting 100%. And I also want that video taken down. I want both of my channels that they hijacked into some sketchy multi-channel network on YouTube, my Race to Walk TV and my Legacy Marketing channel, which I want those released from that trash network, and I want all of my watch time returned and the subscribers. I have not gotten a single response from anyone regarding any of this. They still have a couple of weeks, but I have not changed my opinion. I have not changed my position, and I am not giving an inch on this. I want everyone who has been just fraudulently presenting themselves as an expert or Christian influencer based on words that they didn't even compose themselves, I want them exposed as frauds. This is what I want. And if these nimwits think they can still continue playing their games because I'm sure that part of the last little spree of hacking has been to try to control communications, you're idiots. I mean, I already knew you're a bunch of idiots based on the stuff that you're trying to pull, but you are idiots, and I will never stop talking about this, and you are not going to get away with your fraud. So what happened? Did anyone respond to me? No one's responded to me. The very next day, what did happen is I went to go check the website, and it was apparent to me that they were trying to integrate some sort of cloaking, which is against terms of service for hosting, so that based on who was coming to the site would determine what they saw. So at one point I went to the website and only a few things were showing. I switched my IP address on my VPN and then everything was showing. I also was checking my analytics for the site, and they had been going to Copyscape, going eview.copyscape.com, and going through every single one of my pages to check for content on my site. So what they had done is they had taken parts of my site and linked to it and put it on these spam blog networks of for medical blogs, like Raised to Walk, right? So they're doing this to associate my site with a medical site. So they were going through, I have screenshots of this, they were going through and finding all the pages that had that on there so they could remove those so they wouldn't be obviously found out. That's what rather than just removing the content, this is what they were doing. So I sent a notice of what I sent to them, as well as a DMCA notice to SiteGround, which is the host. I got an acknowledgement on Tuesday. Thursday, I got a response from SiteGround that they had removed it, and they had removed it. But guess what? This is just what these little loser trash do. They just play games, right? They just play games, and so they remove it, and then it's put back. So this is what's going on. This is today. I did a search for this. So do you see, I did a search for the one essay, Hope, Life, and the Fountain of Trevi. So what should come up is my essay on Substack, because that should be the only place where it actually is now, right? What is here? Oh, so this is just since I sent this letter. They have gone and they have spun a crap ton of, and they're not doing this work themselves. They use an AI model because they're lazy. They're lazy criminals. But they've spun a whole bunch of trash Scrib documents, uploaded it to Scrib, so, and probably sabotaged my site so it's not coming up. Okay, so, and again, this is just since I sent that notice. So do they think that they have to follow the law? Do they think they have to respect my work and my rights? No, they don't. They think that they can do whatever they want and that they can just get away with it, because they have so far. Because they have been creating sock puppet accounts and fake engagement and influence campaigns for federal agencies like the freaking FBI, who cover for them. So they think they can do whatever they want. Obviously, because I've already said, take my stuff down. And instead, not only I have a screenshot of this, is the PDF of my article still indexed, but they're spamming the internet with more DNS poisoning. So this was this morning. So what is this one? So this is a PDF of my essay in the first issue. That's a PDF on the journal site. And then if you go down here, so what happens if you use WordPress, right, which the journal site is on, you know that if there is a link that's wrong, that what will come up is the platform will process it and say page not found. So if they had actually removed that file, it wouldn't be coming up web page not available. It would be coming up page not found. So this just tells me that there's some sort of conditional display on it, and they didn't really remove it. That's what that says to me. And then another thing, as I was just searching, this is searching for essays, okay? This is searching for my essays. This is what comes up. There was this site, Explore, Grow, Go, which I'd never heard of, but this was coming up under one of the searches for one of my essays. Instead of my essay on my Substack, this is what was coming up. So if you go to the main part of this, you can't, there's nothing linking to this that I could see in the sitemap itself. You can't find this in like some directory of apologetic creators. It's just this page individually there that they are apparently boosting with links. This is part of the negative SEO campaign, and you're saying, what? Oh, they have a page about you? No. So this is a site. If you go to the main page, there's people on there like Ken Ham, stuff like that. I mean, this is how stupid they are. They literally use the same platforms where they're promoting clients as they do their sabotage. And not only that, but they put some of the sabotage itself on client sites. I have a screenshot of this. One of the plagiarized bogus papers or essays was on a site, was in Andrew Womack's site. This is what I'm saying. You have to know the people that you are giving access to your sites and your social media, because you know what? They may be pulling crap like this and pulling you into some stupid, idiotic, lazy ass mess. Anyway, so this is the first screen. This is the next one going down. So this is what my bio was on an unexpected journal. So you can see here, it says Legacy Marketing Services. Before I told them to take it down, they had deleted the services part of it because they were also basically trying to hijack my legacy marketing business. So anyway, this here is not text, because if it were, it would be a mention, right? No, it's not. It's an image. It's an image. And then this link right here, if you click on it, you know what it does? It has an error in it, so it doesn't go anywhere. So do you see this? It has a little a space after it, after the. So it's basically linking to the wrong domain, because the website is processing it as racetowalk.org%20. So it's not even linking to my domain, but they're putting it, they're feeding it, promoting it, so it will come up for. They have literally done campaigns to boost this trash that they've spun and created based off of plagiarized versions of my work, so it comes up above my actual essays. That is what they have done. This is called tortious interference, besides being copyright infringement. And, you know, I don't even know what they're doing to client sites. Like, I mean, it's fraud and deception, basically. Misuse of their client sites, too. So then this next one. So keep in mind, everything that I'm showing you here is coming up when I'm doing a search for one of my essay names and my name. Pretty specific, right? And this is what's coming up. Because if we needed any more proof that they're associated with my family, this is it. So this is a Justia site. It's dockets.justia.com. This is supposed to be actual court cases. Do you see what I have highlighted here? I don't know if you can see it, but it's Gloria Ansley. So my mom's name is Gloria Ansley. So they must be assuming that there's going to be some court cases coming up with her name in it, and are feeding the internet with these fake court cases with similar names, right? So anyway, because this is a completely fake listing, and this is the information on it. Do you see this? It doesn't even have a name and a of the plaintiff or defendant. It's completely fake, and this is the URL for it here. And that's supposedly a site for an authoritative site, right, for court cases. So what I want to just highlight here is, number one, they're a bunch of criminal idiots. Okay, I've been saying this for a long time, and I feel confident in saying this because I have. Go ahead and try to sue me for defamation, because the truth is a defense to that, and I have so much evidence. It's not even funny. You say, how do these people get away with this? Well, I'll tell you why. Because I have reported it here in Oregon, and police here are like, well, I don't know if there's been any crimes that have been committed here. They don't know what crimes are here, I guess. I don't know. But there are places where most parts of the United States where all of this is a crime. And I just want to say this. Almost all these people, I mean, I know these people from the Houston Christian University Apologetics Program. And if you're asking why I didn't send that notice to Phil Talon, considering that he was one of the people that had been hacking my accounts through that Google Family Group, I didn't include it on this because he was never involved in it. Okay, this is my affiliation with Phil Talon. It's next to nothing. He had just come on staff in fall of 2015 when I started the program. I had one meeting with him and Holly Ordway when I entered the program. I had one meeting when I was going into the last year to talk about degree requirements. That was it. He was around sometimes for some of the conferences, never engaged with them then. And then when I entered the biblical languages program, and I was in church history, and it was completely horrific. The whole thing was horrific. I sent a scathing email to him, to the person who was the dean of the Christian School of Thought then, to the president of the university, to the president of the their online thing. Anybody I could think of, I sent an email to, just basically just talking about how bad the whole experience was. And they sent Phil Talon to talk to me about it, and I talked to him once there. That's my only, I mean, there's no association, no nothing with Phil Talon. So how he gets on a Google Family Group is beyond me. But all I can say is apparently there was some other side training program about how to be a criminal going on at that apologetics group. It's academic fraud. Anyway, so here's the thing. This is what I'm going to say, and this may offend some people, and at this point, I really do not care. Most of these people almost all of them are homeschoolers, like Grant Broadhurst was homeschooled himself, or they have their kids in homeschools, or classical education, which is like semi-homeschool. What you're seeing here is a homeschooler mentality. They're insular, intellectually inbred, and they have a very us and them sort of mindset. I mean, I cannot even tell you how many times I saw this in the discussions. I mean, I didn't get into it with them. I'm thinking, okay, you have a right to your opinion. I don't think they're valid, but you have a right to send your kids wherever you want. But like, just for example, Donald Catchings, who was also part of this whole thing, he was teaching at a private Christian school. They laid him off like right at the end of the school year. So if you're going to go teach somewhere else, they start hiring people months before. So it was too late for him to get a job somewhere else. So he basically was unemployed for a year and had to hustle selling his books. This is after the fall before they didn't have any care or guidelines to prevent against COVID infections. And he got sent home because he was tested positive for COVID. Day 10, his oxygen crashes and he's in the ER, and he doesn't have health insurance. Okay? I mean, I'm sorry, you think that you're too good for public schools and that, public school students are just the lowest of the low. Well, let me tell you what, if you were at a public school, you would have at least had health insurance. And this is another thing that classical Christian school that Carice Gillen teaches at in Fort Worth, one of the issues that we published, she had one of her amazing poems published in. They published the whole thing on their website and didn't even link to our site. And this was when the issue had first listed. I mean, it's like, we can do whatever we want to do. We're a Christian school. We can do what we want. And then, keep in mind that this is a degreed professional teacher. A professional teacher with advanced degrees and who is published. And she can barely even, she can't even afford to keep her car in order. And then at Christmas, the parents are just so generous, and they give her like, I don't know, a $500 little extra on for Christmas. And she's like, oh, I'm so thankful for this. You've got to be kidding me. You've got to be kidding me. She should not need charity for anything. She should be getting paid what she's worth. This is just the mindset of homeschoolers and these little private Christian education people. They're better than everybody else. They have a right to, oh no, we're not going to pay our teachers what they're worth. We're just going to, we want the best, but we're not going to pay for it. You just got to like provide everything you have at your own expense, which is exactly what they have done to me. They have stolen every single thing that I've had, hijacked. I'm not even going to get into the whole thing with what they've done to my accounts. I have not received one, let alone an apology, even an acknowledgement, not one. I have received compensation for nothing. I'm assuming that there's some stuff going on because in December, I got some unknown Stripe deposit for a penny. Okay. My last Amazon thing was $21. That was for the US market. At 32 cents from the European one. How that works, I don't know. I don't know how that works. But anyway, like I said, they have been, it's not just on my YouTube channel, it's on my publishing accounts. They have primary access. I have just what they let me see, and all the money that I get is what they decide they're going to let me have. Who are these people? Ingrates. They are a bunch of ingrates. They have no claim on me at all. I gave them, I mean, this is the irony of this. When you're starting out a YouTube channel reviewing books, the smart thing to do is to review books that everybody is reading and talking about. Did I do that? No, I didn't. I was promoting people that no one knew. No one knew because they were friends of mine. And this is how they repay me. So anyway, but going back to the homeschooling, it's just a homeschool mentality. This is just what it is. And I think Germany has it right in that you have to send your kids to public school, because this is having this attitude. I mean, can you imagine? Think about this. People that have done this, go and look on my website at Hack the Saga. Everything that's on there. Do you want people that have done this teaching anyone's kids anything? I certainly don't. But this is just, they get in these little echo chambers and they have no idea. It's like, y'all, I say a lot of things now, but I'm just saying this now. I did not usually I'm just like, okay, I may not agree with them, but you have a right to live their life. Apparently they don't think I have a right to live my life, but that has always been my attitude. But sometimes they give these arguments and they're just like so bad. They'll just say something and you can tell that they think it's just a zinger. And it's like, that's dumb. The only reason why you think that's a good argument is because you are just surrounding yourself with a lot of people that think these weak arguments and illogical statements like you do. And nobody says anything to you, which I guess I probably should have been saying more things to them all along if I were truly a friend. But again, you know, they were just one minuscule part of my life. Anyway, but just next time you are in a situation where you've been giving to people and they just sit and suck it all out of you, go to my website, racetowalk.org, hack the saga. This could be you. People are people, and I had a real estate trainer when I sold real estate in Oregon in the 90s, Brian Buffini, and this is what he would say: givers give and users suck. And these are all users. So actions tell you who people are. And if there's no reciprocity there, then, you know, they've told you who they are. And so believe them. Anyway, so that's it for today. This is just a notice to all the little, oh, I forgot to tell you. Yeah. So this has happened. These negative SEO campaigns have happened just in the last 2 weeks since I sent that email. What happened yesterday, I was sending an email, just forwarding an email to myself, and it took a long time because I'm using Proton, right? It doesn't normally take a long time, but I'm using Proton, so it's web-based. And it was showing 2 emails sending at the same time, okay? And I was just sending an email to, you know, just for a record. And I'm like, what's the deal with this? So then I refresh and I look, and the email that I was trying to send was in a draft and the content had been wiped. So I went back and I sent it again. And then just like almost immediately, I got an email from Simple Login saying that an email had been attempted to be sent to that email that I had told them to respond to, auj@mail@thealvarezes.com. Okay, it had been tried to send to that, but it was sending through the wrong mailbox. So this is how Proton works. You can have email addresses, right, on Proton itself. Okay, so Proton, you can have mail sent there. You can have domains, your own domains going into Proton, configured through Proton itself. But you can also create basically aliases. So you have your domains, like my Race to Walk or thealvarezes.com or whatever, on Simple Login, and it integrates with Proton. So that alias that I have, that I told them to email me to, auj.@mail.thealvarezes.com, that's an alias on Simple Login on my personal domain, right? So the only people that should be sending me that are the people that I sent it to. So you can separate things out. That's part of the whole thing about using aliases, is that you can tell, like if your data gets breached, you can tell where the breach was, right? So the only people that know about this email are the people who receive that email, right? Oh, I guess they could have looked at my website too, but who else would be interested in it? But anyway, so when you have an alias on Simple Login, you also have to, so you have your main account on Proton, right? And so that's your login to Simple Login. But you can create different mailboxes to receive the email for the emails from these aliases. So you assign them, right? So if you have, let's say you have 3 Proton emails and then you have a bunch of different aliases, you can say which of those Proton email addresses you want to go to receive the email that goes through those aliases, if that makes sense. I have to diagram it out when I explain it again. But anyway, The reason I got the error message was because when you send an email, it has to be sent through the Proton mailbox that it's assigned to, or whatever email it's assigned to. You can't actually mail out those aliases, which I guess they haven't figured out that part of it, because that's what they were trying to do. So I'm assuming it was, I have Simple Login investigating it, but I'm assuming that they were doing it the same way that Jason Smith was basically hacking on my Gmail account and doing it through my laptop. That's what I'm assuming. Some sort of remote control on that. But yeah, that was yesterday. So have they taken my notice seriously? No, they have not. They're still just continuing doing the exact same thing. So anyway, that's where it's at. And I'm really sick of this. I mean, this is the last thing that I would want to be spending my time on, but I have to spend my time on it. And I guess the fact that I have learned a whole bunch, and what's been happening to me, I'm not the only person that's been happening to, right? And so everything I learn will be to benefit to other people, so they know what to be on guard against. Especially keep in mind that these people are using client sites to seed some of their negative SEO stuff that they put out. Super ethical, right? Yeah. Obviously, they did not cover ethics in the apologetics program. They didn't even do spiritual formation. Phil Talon got rid of that for the apologetics program when he came on. Big surprise. So anyway, that's it for today, and I will talk to you later.